So we'll continue with the prayer of the 12 deeds that comes under here. Don't know if that's, yeah, so that's in the prayers for teaching occasions on the first page, just after the praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. Yes, excellent. Thank you so much. Gangze gani zo ge danze sa jen de la gomba dumbo ne ngani ji den di na chu shi sun de ze ge ba che la cha sa lo nanda kunga chu du zu za nga ye shi jang zo se ge lumbo zha ba ji de sun na la me wa gombo che nye ge la cha sa lo zhen zhuo den ba zhe me da wei zhe se zhou zhao wei ge la zha sa lo de zhe ge zha si ba su ma chi nyao me ge zhe ge la zha sa lo gong bo tu zhe che den ba tam zhe gen be den ba bo se na yun den ge zu xi de zhen zhe la cha sa lo da be de cha zhe wa gyu ge wei ngen zong le zhe qing qi du den dang qiu jiu ba xie ge zhe la cha sa lo zhe ne zhe wei lang miang de la ba da la ra de ne xing gi dang ba yun den den gen den la yang cha sa lo de ba chi yang mi cha xin ge wa bun zun zo ba che rang ge se ne yong se de di ne sang ge ten ba yin ka ma ra re ma me dang gyu ma zeng ba che bo dang mi lam lo dang jin da bu de che che nan di da da se nan di ye tang che zi ba ye ko ban te ni kyun gi zha de de ga dan na dan chi we la zhe be zi be zu le zhou wa re xiu. So we'll do the short mandala offering before the Bodhisattva vows. So ji gi jo shi me do ram ri rab lin ji ni de gen ba di song ge jin du me de bu wa yi jo kun nam da jing je par jo idang guru ratna mendala kani yada yami che dan so gi che nam la jang chu par du tani kya su chi da gi che nyen gi pe so nang gi jo la pen chir sang je jo par sho che dan so gi che nam la jang chu par du tani kya su chi da gi che nyen gi pe so nang gi jo la pen chir sang je jo par sho che dan so gi che nam la jang chu par du tani kya su chi da gi che nyen gi pe so nang gi jo la pen chir sang je jo par sho.
Ya ruru so so ga tan da jin no ka la tene so ji jo den de zo ji pi pen ju ji de la so ba
So as we take these bodhisattva vows, we can visualize in the place in front Buddha Shakyamuni surrounded by holy beings, in particular the 17 Nalanda Panditas, the great Indian scholars, and all of their students in the space in front of us. And we can also imagine that together in this field in front of us, the scholars of the land of the snows, in particular Lama Tsongkhapa and his main disciples, as well as the eminent lamas of not only the Gelugpa but also the Sakya, Kagyu, and Nyingma traditions of Buddhism. And so then, in an easy way, according to your own understanding, bring forth refuge and bring forth the Bodhi mind, bodhicitta. And then think, for the sake of all sentient beings with whom I am connected, to achieve their welfare, this self, this I, must actualize the state of Buddhahood, full enlightenment. There is no other way. And for that I, for that self to be able to reach enlightenment, as a preliminary to that, one must become a bodhisattva. There is no other way. So in this way, having received the bodhisattva vows or precepts, I will use this as a way to bring forth, to actualize, to draw near to bodhicitta. So for those of you who have not received the bodhisattva vows before, think I am very fortunate to be able to receive the bodhisattva vows on this special day, and I will guard them as much as possible. In a capsule, the training too is to, as much as possible, always see others as precious, as important. A key piece of advice from His Holiness the Dalai Lama is that as much as we are able to cultivate this vision of others being extremely precious and close to us, based upon that, we will naturally not be transgressing the bodhisattva precepts. That's the way to train. So of course, within the bodhisattva vows, we have the different enumerations of the 18 root and the 46 secondary vows, but we can understand that all of these are methods to help us to reduce the self-cherishing mind, to prevent the damage of the self-cherishing mind. So if, as our basic practice, we are constantly training and seeing others as precious and cherishing them, naturally we will not have serious transgressions of these bodhisattva precepts. So Geshe-la said, for those of us who have received the bodhisattva vows before, it is very likely that they have degenerated, that there have been some transgressions. Geshe-la himself acknowledges that he sometimes has transgressions. So one of the best way to purify those transgressions is to confess and renew them by receiving the vows again. So for those of you who have received them before, you can think in this way. If you have received the vows before and kept them without degeneration, Geshe-la has nothing to say to you other than to rejoice. That is most wonderful. So with the mind of awareness and great joy, think, now I am participating in the ritual of receiving these vows for the benefit of all sentient beings.
다 보게 너무 신다고 소리하레스.
And so as we go through the ritual to recite the vows, we go through some words that are expressing refuge. I go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and highest assembly. Confession, I confess all misdeeds individually. And rejoicing, I rejoice in the virtuous deeds of all beings. That's what the Tibetan we're going to recite means. Geshe-la said this is the foundation for the vows, this practice of refuge, confession, rejoicing. So the vows, of course, don't just come into our mind so easily. So what we have to do is prepare the ground of the mind with refuge, confession, and rejoicing to be able to really receive those vows. And so then we cultivate this vision that all beings are connected with and close to us. And it is on the basis of that vision that we can bring forth wishing bodhicitta. And then on that basis, we then engage of the process of seeing all sentient beings as our guests. And the reason that it uses the words invited guests is because, of course, when we have a guest in our house, it's not just like an ordinary person we encounter. We're going to do our very best to help them. And mainly, the main commitment here is that I am making the promise to work towards their happiness, to work towards the happiness of other sentient beings. And we also imagine that the lamas, the yidams, the various Buddhas and enlightened beings that we visualized in front, they are here as the witnesses of us receiving these vows. So please repeat after Geshe-la. And Dave was kind enough to find that text. That's exactly the right text, Dave. I didn't warn him beforehand, but that is the text we're going to be using. So you'll be able to follow along with the text that Dave has for receiving the vows. Kuncho sumla dachabchi. Dipa tamche soso sha. Droi gela jiya rong. Soji shangshu yiji zu. Sangye jangshu yigi sung. Soji chitang socho la. Sangye chudang socho la. Shangshu bada dasha che. Jangshu bardu dachabchi. Rongje tena radha she. Rangjen duni rabdrub chir. Shangshu sena sheba je. Jangshu seni chepar ji. Shangshu choke sena sheji ne. Jangshu choki seni kegi ne. Senche tangche dagi reda ne. Senche tangche dagi drondu nyer. Jiangchu Xianchu Yigong Xeba Je. Jiangchu Chuchu Yiyong Chepa Ji. Kendela Dendration the Gaza me ta Xianchu Yuan Doya Tapa. So having invited all these sentient beings as my guests, not just being satisfied with that, but actually engaging in the activities to actually lead them to enlightenment. Drola Pencher, Sangye Drobar Sho. So the first recitation is completed. Now we will recite the recitation a second time. Kuncho Sumla Dachabchi. Dipa Tonche Soso Sha. Dipa Tamche Soso Sha. Dipa Kandi China Indi Masota Tepa. Noso. So all of the negativities that I have accumulated, these were a great mistake. So now I confess all of these negativities. Droe gela ji rong. Droe gela ji rong. So whoever is engaging in activities that are positive, I do not view those activities with any jealousy, but I rejoice sincerely in those activities from the very bottom of my heart. Soji shangshu yiji zu. Sangye jangshu yigi sung. Soji chitong sojo la. Sangye chudang sojo la. Shangshu bada dasha je. Jangshu bardu dachab chi. So then this is the verse. I don't see them on our screen, but this is the verse for bringing forth the uncommon Mahayana refuge within our mind. Rangshen duni rabdrub chir. This is the verse that we are reciting, that we will fulfill our own welfare as well as the welfare of others.
소주 세나 셰바죠
Jangshu semni cheparji.
소주 초게 세나 셰지네
Jamshu choki semni cheje ne.
세제 통제 다긴 레너네
Senshin tanche dagi jundu nye.
소주 신주 이공 셰바죠
Jangshu junju yong cheparji.
이데 운이가 다 가워제 산지 강가를 다 가워야 다 야버스 가와 대지 강가 파트에 더바소기
So this is a verse of seeing all sentient beings as guests, but also seeing them as beautiful or seeing them as attractive. Seeing them as beautiful or attractive means that we see them all as being close to us.
돌아 배셔 손진 저와쇼
Drola penchir sange droba sho.
다 레니 바소네 레스비 탈했더니 타마타마를 다 존재스비 도마 넘어 답하시 토야 또 마뉴바지는 더소 토니 녀여바지는 다 여보 녀니 소쳐서 녀매바지는 다 야지 침모침로서 somba.
So now we'll do the third recitation. Maybe good to spotlight Geshe-la and I for the third recitation if you can. So the third recitation, Geshe-la said, at the moment that we recite it this third time, we imagine that if we have not received the Bodhisattva vows before, that we have received them for the first time. We imagine that if we have received them but they have degenerated, that they are renewed and purified. And we imagine that if they have not degenerated, that they are flourished and strengthened.
견주 설라 다샤저
Kunju sumla dachabji.
디바 통제 소소샤
Dipa tamche soso sha.
로이 게라 지여롱
Jowe gela jei rang.
수지 정주 이지즈
Sangye jangshu yigi sung.
수지 치동 소초라
Sangye chudong socho la.
정주 바더 다샤저
Jangshu bardu dachabji.
로제 대너 라저셔
Rangshin duni rabjub chir.
정주 세너 셰바저
Jangshu seni cheparji.
정주 초게 세너 셰지네
Jangshu choki semni cheje ne.
세제 통제 다긴 데더네
Semshin tamshe dagi jundu nyer.
정주 신주 예공 셰바저
Jangshu cheshu yiyong cheparji.
돌아 배셔 손진 저와쇼
Drola penchir sange droba shu.
론 소소가 세기질 다 존재 생배 domba 자치 못해 파마뇽바 시원자고 다 할래야 야보지 쉬송 somba.
To be able to receive or renew the Bodhisattva vows in a perfectly pure way on this occasion is something really wonderful. So meditate with an attitude of rejoicing.
로제 강게 대시 부스츠비 자와지 있다 대 마뇽바 가제 더더다 야보지 대적이 somba지.
And keeping in mind that these precepts are a source of true welfare for both ourselves and others, and making the determination that we will do our very best not to transgress them, or to transgress them as little as possible.
다 들이 손지 그리스에 손시에네 다 가봅시야 보시송 사치티스.
And so now we are going to recite a verse rejoicing in the ceremony. Today my life has borne great fruit. I have attained an excellent human existence. Today I am born into the Buddha's family, and now I have become a Buddha's child.
제가르 대디다진
Dindu Dratse Jebu.
대디다진 지부예
Dindu Dratse Jebu Ye.
메이 시바 레바토
Mi Sipa Lepar To.
데르 수지 리스시
Dering Sangye Riksu Kie.
수제스에서 다저도
Sangye Sesu Dagyur To.
어다 들이 된다 멀리 토픽 다 고침보스 치에송 세그야레스.
So think that in this way I have really been able to begin the process of making my life supremely meaningful.
어다 손지 리를 다 버게 부지야 벌써 주바치 시토송 라고지.
And think in this way I have been able to bring forth my Buddha nature, my potential for enlightenment in a very powerful way.
다나 다기 찐에 좀
Dani Dani Chine Kyong.
리도 템비 레조데
Rigdang Tumpe Lezamte.
헤메 쯤비 린더라
Kyume Tumpe Ridila.
뇽바 먼저 대다샤
Nyoba Mijo Deta Cha. So now, come what may,
소망에 봐도 jelne발라 소바다 때네 시금이 존재셈비 레가 노지치다 링어에서 시바 야보치.
so reciting this, now come what may, I shall accord I shall act in accord with this lineage, never causing this impeccable, noble lineage to be tarnished. So this is really making the commitment to train according to what we have received and not fall into transgressions of body, speech, and mind.
What did you do? So what that Yaponya Kalakore Madua, seeing a Yido, Yapochita, and then it is you to us.
So Geshe-la said that in terms of kind of keeping these commitments, remember this basic training of trying to see everyone we encounter as being close to, as being connected with us. If we are able to do that, then we won't have so much degeneration of these commitments.
Oh, that control the Rochin the Ledo Leongur and the Lila Yamarwas, Ina, Tasombangia, but Duja de Manyanilla, Kaze, the Tajilla, Kasi, Leva Ina, Tatsumazoya. What did you catch him? What is?
So anger and self-cherishing, of course, we haven't vanquished these from our mind, so they may arise occasionally, but what we don't want to do is to let them fester. We want to sort of give up, we want to abandon holding on to those ill intentions. That is very important.
Oh, this one, only Rulu Sosogot and Sosoga Nolata, Cariona, Tanikandato, Tungato, Tanipa, and Diona, Tindanilla, the Shojas a bit of Malechu yard, the Ukoro, Mandawachi is.
And also keep in mind that these bodhisattva vows, they are different from other vows or precepts in a very wonderful way, which is that if our vows degenerate, right, if we make a mistake, we can go through this process of receiving and renewing the vows ourselves in front of like a picture, a tanka, or a statue of an enlightened being. Yeah, and even if you don't have a picture or a statue, you can visualize the holy being, and then you renew these precepts.
And
so Geshe-la said that while these holy supports or objects are wonderful, keep in mind they are not a necessity for realization. Out of the great scholars of the lands of the snows of the Kagyu, Nyingma, Sakya, and Geluk traditions, Lord Milarepa was one of the preeminent, and he did not have so many of the Dharma items, yet he still achieved realization. Yeah. Yeah, so one day you may remember the story of the bandit, or the thief, who arrived at Milarepa's cave, and he was looking around. He came under the cover of night, and then Milarepa said, even in daylight you wouldn't be able to find anything of value in this humble cage, much less in nighttime.
What did you watch it?
Oh, sorry, can everyone mute themselves if you're not muted, just for the sound quality? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Lama Tsongkhapa no Takoro and Dinda what it, Angite, look at it, Chazo Balila what it is.
And so Geshe-la said, as we recite this text of destiny fulfilled, remember his instruction at the beginning of our session, which is that verse number 4 contains the essence of this text and indeed of all Lama Tsongkhapa's biographies.
Oh, that is so in a Kandigo, you said Toyoba. Only too many to Yoba, that Janes was going to us. Then no Lama Tsongkhapa, Koro, Lojosh, and Yoleship, Divukariomet, Yunus.
So we know if we look at Lama Tsongkhapa's life, right, it's quite clear he had realizations of the path, realizations of emptiness, and so forth. This text, Destiny Fulfilled, is kind of really an explanation of all of those realizations. Oh, sorry. And also if we look at His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who is in this world right now, if we look at his statements very carefully, we can see he's indicating through his study, through his practice, he's able to bring forth this mind of bodhicitta as well as a profound understanding of emptiness. So these same realizations are possible today. So Geshe-la will now give the Lung in Tibetan. There's not time for me to go through everything in English, so just listen with an attentive mind.
Tujen the Lema Juso, Dele Sechi, Jitetori, Shutota, Silo Chombi, Tevingas in Delets our Taji Lama, Jise Chembi, Tenjashalando, Tati Chejetres.
So then the Nalo Gurebe. Yeah, so I'll just indicate sort of where we are by reading the first sentence, maybe. The eyes for the world to see higher realms of life and the freedom of enlightenment. Yeah, verse number 1, this is the oath to compose. And you'll see that there's a prostration to Manjushri, the noble Lord Wisdom Treasure Manjushri, I bow. So we know that Lama Tsongkhapa having a direct sort of relationship with Manjushri, one of his teachers, so he offers prostration to him. So we know that Lama Tsongkhapa through his practice supplicated Manjushri, and there came points in his life where he was able to interact with Manjushri directly and sort of clarify points about his practice and meditation. So in this way Manjushri was very kind to him, so he offers prostration to him. So to gather a great store of merit and wisdom with little effort, rejoicing in virtue is praised as best. So Geshe-la wants to comment on this. He said he'll give a commentary on this complete text at some point in the future if people are interested. But just to gloss this, you know, a little effort is all that's required to amass virtue through rejoicing. Sometimes we don't appreciate this process of rejoicing because it seems like a little bit too easy, but really we're actually missing out, because when we rejoice we complete very excellent accumulations. And Geshe-la said also when we rejoice, we don't need to be limited in our vision, not just rejoicing in the deeds of holy beings of our tradition or of Buddhism, but just all of the beings who are engaged in the world for the happiness and welfare of others, really rejoicing in those collective virtues. And then when we do that, when we rejoice, we get a portion of those merits. We get a lot of positive imprints and potentials within our mind. So what a wonderful practice. So Geshe-la said that he is going to go through this lung quickly, and then if there is time, we can recite the practice together in English. 바도 줄이 도제 동바샤 타만지 세컨도 녀선로 그주 템바지베체 동 천도 소신도 말레네다 가르지고 지저 집에 로도네라 그니 통비 뭐도 티베 데메마사와 로마마시나 타비 중저던 주반저와 메제 메종 지시기 대니셔나 뭐 보치지 동조리지 주주니시도 유라 쇼레와도 라바레 츠마마시 끌라셔도 좀 천도 소신도 말레네다 가르지고 지저 집에 제바서로 동행이 보이 대니 때란베고 지원요다 리비중게 간내란베바도 미용도용도 가지고 선도소신의 말에는 가리제고 지저 쳔비데 농아주라 나와 모시 좀 사대녀서래도 마말 고요 말아 제요 무시베 다이 저래리나 마소마 돈에 라바 르더 유르 좀 사모제베 차이리로 니모도 다와데 베베네 가발라발레바 좀 대대서 제바바 제베 선도소신의 말에는 가리제고 지도 쳔비 된다나 수지 된다나 주수지서 제발라 사모도지 태도 파시대 노마니 예수가 파실 신의 제와 바바 이노시 니마다와 니마다와 따고 근도 저 치대 데미시도 원데 저와도 사메데 태대 저다버지지 저와마시 키비컨자바 텐다 데미시라 제인 데레제비 옴보토보 공원 신도 체가 고나 메빌로 난다 야원도와 제마고 차 데니잖아 제이 대바바 좀 수지리 저기메도 제你就点着什么点儿学呢？别把蒙蔽这东西，我真的说现在嘛来那边的吧，感觉结果就是这边。这点我马上就乱就车没事的，那就拉面机，这点跟着出的拖起中多家中的吧，这吧来东送啊小鸡来吧，这个爸爸东，比如说给些说的什么说下季日时候就东西了，给这点弄了，这东这吧，这都说现在嘛来那的，感觉结果就是前面。
Jideni ba shebi ji no jo zo jo ba no no nge jo je ji la zhong yi shebi ji jo jo kong yi te yi le ba nge ba ceng de so jin de ma len da ga ji je guo ji zo jian bei de ji de shen ba na jo ji no jo zo ba de tian yin di bi ji xie ji do ji 这么拉说拉准，那就记着个的，侬真的说真的嘛，那个的结果就是前面，是吧？那就那没办了，怕一开把诺了，你打用手抓比怕进的不懂的，那就马几接多的就给，咱这些位置了说不懂，多几些东西说么的，有些的说这的确可能的。啥些这么没别个了，用真的说真的嘛，那个的结果就在前面，同步加些的吧，没得在一个的同步个天天的去了，么么是。准备用了许多就是给台湾电比娱乐东巴的家下说的就是个了没别真的说现在嘛呢，搞这结果几次前比的大炮的大没比那这图面的日节级别全球了。他们明明把这边上面去做拍摄东巴下，真的说现在嘛，来年的搞这结果几次前面，就是说呢，前面娱乐了，运动嘛就他妈这几等都得的个了上去，这边原来人把也没事，就没有就说叫龙巴了，你说的。你做的那马工店，如果跟着没的就说是送给那送给农在我的才嘛些，店的没里嘛一破学的，同年老把车的这把那么才嘛给你这边切切，才嘛这把邻居路都给弄着店的呢，我觉得呢才嘛这些店里店，店把可能谈的人我是也把店里也别天你去。乱着那跟这把这老你们来把天比老把个玩意真的是你他妈的你们搞这结果几次前比的天天说是天天凶三多的建议没来把兄弟自己他们没把解决就动进入给就个原始那边东把真的是你他妈的搞这结果几次前比的老把三级加起虽然做这边过这边过了你嘞，乱着呢，搞了你的那把个地了，点年多的个嘞地把说，那这运就那这旅就就说他们的，那是嘞别人把嘞把，真的说现在嘛嘞，那搞这些个就是钱别，点年说的什么，弄那俺把上去送去送完，也来把些别没光了的呢，乱着那个来把东把些真的说现在嘛嘞，那搞这些个就是钱别。把地天津的评论家呢，定着上去，地把通完呢，就在南阳老铁上面的，过次都把高啊，别去那么出去送一这些掐头机，那时候下的自己些把都记得时间上面了。过着就些为那么啥，真的昨天他妈的那搞的结果就在前面，特别那些跟着他对吧，把的拿着那没别去，天天弄那边想到去啥把的送完的别几家。买一顿把那种的给水在一起的那呢，那么他最刺激在大店呢，电视机比电视显微镜这进入的那面面光的西家水吃的那都是那面光，他对很多一些的。那热说的把旁边关键车搞了人等这把西的。在一起这面打不少啊，些把了店里些情况安顿，来把原来别把钱比用人的比人家系统，却把做别人比那个你真的说你他妈的那搞的结果就是前面，第一头嘞，第二的过手就得蒙蔽，那得东巴些，得到大给人的些边上等等，我姐了，我做些真的说些。那么呢，那搞的结果就是前面的把这娱乐多些东巴些，一搞的你包括，也到了东边店的接班呢，天天你就他妈了。他们劳动呢，他们没乱叫人把你内地村老人这把用很多时间都把人搞的结果就是前面，假设没了公给流动呢，到亲这边没了弄的把水起来给在今年上班，各就电把这边切等我真的做钱，那么人搞的结果就是前面，他们你再跟到牛市弄，各就电把这边切等我搞点什么哦，弄给我家。加起别些都那这点别各种蒙博人就跟忙弄，自己点别些容给都把这本的意思，点了特别给做那些人办的，然后嘛嘞特别的就那没就你家娃这边劳动就把这容给都把这本都真的些本的呢，没得特别给了，像这个把路走这边把这家娃他第一些的。旅店的是那啥玩意儿？我说这些没给人呐，我到那出去给我要不我。有呢，这些有那就今天个是吧
So yeah, so Geshe-la said this completes the lung, the oral transmission of this particular text of Destiny Fulfilled. We're both very aware that it's a work day for many of you, so very grateful that you've all joined us. So Geshe-la said if you need to go on with your responsibilities of the day, just make your own brief dedication and you can go about your day. If you have time...
Lama Tsongkhapa个等没电视真的了。그러고 또 바르치잖아 맞죠. 하고 살아와. 대에서 라는 데네 다 보게 하고 또 그래서
di rona.
oda ke chamo mo dan de yute dan reshe tise nga zo ya maro was jimbo ma to ba nga zo reshe chi ma chi ya so is
So Geshe said also on this occasion he's very mindful this is a profound text and there wasn't time for explanation, so he's just saying again he definitely has the intention to give a proper explanation or commentary on this text at a future occasion.
lo sa ba no lo la
Yes, so possibly in the new year if people are interested. So yes, you can always give us feedback, by the way, at the center what you're interested in Geshe teaching about, so this is a possibility.
oh yeah
So for those of you who have time, then we'll recite this text together. I saw that Dave was kind enough to share the file with people, so if you'd like to read along with me, please do. I'll keep it at a good pace just so that, being a work day and all. Om, may we have happiness and excellences, the eyes of the world to see higher realms of life and the freedom of enlightenment, resting place for those tired from wandering on the paths of cyclic existence, the root of happiness and excellence, my kind gurus, and the noble Lord Wisdom Treasure Manjushri, I bow to your feet. To gather a great store of merit and wisdom with little effort, rejoicing in virtue praised as best, particularly regarding the past virtues collected by oneself, if you develop without pride great joy in your virtues of the past, it is said these past virtues will increase even more. To accomplish the purpose of this statement by the Buddha, and also because I see many other purposes as well, it would be good, O mind, to feel such joy, and this I dedicate for the spread of the teaching. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord Wisdom Treasure. In the beginning I sought much learning, in the middle all teachings dawned on me as spiritual exhortation. In the end I practiced day and night, I dedicated all this virtue for the Dharma to flourish. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled. Thank you very much, noble Lord Wisdom Treasure. With the darkness of confusion concerning the points to adopt or reject, not dispelled by the lamp of perfect learning. If you do not know even the path, what need to speak of entering the supreme city of liberation? Therefore, not content with a partial or superficial understanding of the treatises of the invincible Lord of Dharma, and those of the great sages widely renowned in India, and the 6 ornaments and the 2 supreme ones, I studied them all in great detail. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord Wisdom Treasure. Especially for an ordinary person, the sole way to determine the precise reality of things are the treatises on valid reasoning, so with much effort I studied their difficult points again and again. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Wisdom Treasure. Though I toiled in the treatises of Sutra and Tantra, when practicing and expounding their profound meaning, I found my view has not advanced far beyond those who had learned nothing and who knew even less. So then I studied thoroughly all the essential keys to induce the correct view through the subtle dialectical reasoning that distinguishes the profound, especially the treatises of Nagarjuna, and resolved all my doubts completely. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord Wisdom Treasure. There are 2 vehicles to travel to perfect enlightenment, the profound Vajra vehicle and the perfection vehicle. Secret mantra is said to be much superior to the perfection vehicle. This is as well known as the sun and moon. While accepting these words to be true, there are some who do not ask, what is the profound vehicle, and yet assume the mantle of scholars? If such people are supposed to be intelligent, then where are the dull-witted? How extraordinary that anyone should neglect an unexcelled path so difficult to meet. Therefore, I entered the supreme vehicle of the victorious ones, the Vajra vehicle, even rarer than the Buddhas, a profound treasury of the 2 spiritual feats, and I studied it long with much effort. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord Wisdom Treasure. Not knowing the paths of the 3 lower tantras and deciding that highest yoga tantra is the supreme of all class of tantras is just making an assertion. Realizing this, I familiarized myself both generally and specifically with the 3 genres of action tantra, such as the general secret tantra, true fulfillment, the tantra requested by Subahu, and later concentration. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord Wisdom Treasure. With the 2nd class of tantra, performance tantra, I studied the main tantra, manifest enlightenment of Vairochana, and ascertained thoroughly the precise orientation of all performance tantra. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord Wisdom Treasure. Within the 3rd class of tantra, yoga tantra, I studied the main tantras, the glorious compendium of reality, the explanatory tantras such as Vajra Pinnacle, and enjoyed the feast of yoga tantra. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord Wisdom Treasure. Within the 4th class of tantra, the highest yoga tantra, I studied the root and explanatory tantras and others, renowned as the sun and moon among the Indian sages, the secret community Samadhi, a Father Tantra, and the Yogini Tantras such as Vajra Laughter, Hevajra, and Supreme Bliss Samvara. I also studied the Wheel of Time, Kalachakra Tantra, unique amongst Tantras, an original system of explanation different from other sutras and Tantras, along with its illuminating exegesis, the stainless light. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord, wisdom treasure. Then, with a firm, intense, and enduring faith in Manju Gosha, supreme in banishing the darkness from the disciples' minds, I prayed in order that all scriptures might dawn as spiritual instruction and strove to fulfill all the necessary conditions. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord, wisdom treasure. Striving thus, I found a special conviction in the stages of enlightenment transmitted from Nagarjuna to Asanga, and hence the perfection of wisdom, the best scriptures on the profound, dawned upon me as spiritual instructions. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord, wisdom treasure. In this northern land there are many, regardless of whether they have studied the texts on epistemology or not, who say that no graduated practice of the path leading to enlightenment is the compendium of valid cognition, and the corpus is 7 treatises. But then they also take as authoritative the permission granted by Manjushri to Dignaga, which he explicitly said, write this book. In the future it will become the eye for all wandering beings. Seeing this to be completely illogical, I especially looked into this and found that the Pramana Samuchaya's opening passage is established by the Pramana Siddhi chapter of Dharmakirti's Pramanavartika through the forward and reverse logical procedures, as proving Bhagavan Buddha to be an authoritative master for those seeking liberation. From this I found a deep conviction that his teaching alone is the ford for those seeking total freedom. As such, all the essential points gathered as one of the paths of the 2 vehicles unfolded through the path of reasoning, and I found a very special joy. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord, wisdom treasure. Then I brought together the Bodhisattva level and ornament of sutras, and with much hard and proper work, all the treatises of the invincible Dharma Lord Maitreya, and those following him arose as spiritual instruction. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord, wisdom treasure. Relying especially on the compendium of practices, which grants certainty on all points of the path, with its graded arrangement of the vast and profound teaching, I saw clearly the many points of the supreme treatises of Nagarjuna, such as the compendium of sutras as stages of practice. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord, wisdom treasure. Then, relying on Buddha Guya's well-explained practical instructions of the Dhyanottara and Vairochana Bisambodhi, as well as all points of the path dawned as spiritual instruction. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord, wisdom treasure. Seeing how all the essentials of the path of the Sri Tattva Samgraha are incorporated in the 3 samadhis was not that hard, but for the difficult way to meditate on the profound in that path, I relied on the great Pandit Buddha Guya's correct explanation, which combined the root explanatory and subsidiary yoga tantras, and on the stages of meditation's proper explanations of the profound practices of the 3 tantra classes, and the darkness in my mind was dispelled. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord, wisdom treasure. The ultimate of all well-spoken teachings of the mighty sage is the glorious highest Yoga Tantra, of which the greatest and most profound is the king of Tantra, the glorious Guhya Samaja. On this, the supreme philosopher Nagarjuna said, the essentials of the path are sealed in the root tantra by the 6 limits and 4 ways, and thus they must be understood through a master's instruction following the explanatory tantras. Acknowledging this was crucial, I acquainted myself for a long time with even the smallest texts of the noble Nagarjuna's tradition of Guhya Samaja, the ultimate core instructions contained in the concise sadhana, the lamp of integrating practices and the stages of presentation, and so on. Also, relying on the lamp-like illuminator of the root tantra and combining them with the 5 explanatory tantras, I studied with enormous effort and discovered the 2 stages of the Guhya Samaja in general, and especially all the essentials of the perfection stage. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord, wisdom treasure. Through this, the essential points of many tantras, such as Samvara, Hevajra, and Kalachakra, dawned upon me as spiritual instructions. I have explained these elsewhere. Here, I just show a door for the discerning. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord, wisdom treasure. Having thus become a treasure of instructions, I trained to familiarize myself with a path comprising the common path and exclusive path with its two stages, the two Mahayana systems. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord, wisdom treasure. It is said that the Ganges-like prayers of the Bodhisattvas are all contained within the prayers that uphold the holy Dharma. Thus, whatever I have accumulated was dedicated to the spread of the sages' teachings. Thinking this over, how well my destiny is fulfilled, thank you very much, noble Lord, wisdom treasure. In order to increase my own virtue enormously and to show properly the correct way to the many fortunate beings who possess a discerning mind, I have written this account of my education. By the store of virtue attained through this process, may all beings through this same procedure maintain the unexcelled conduct of the Buddha and enter the path that pleases the victorious ones. So in this way, Geshe-la said, we have completed all of the activities we had planned for this holy day of Ganden Gamche. So as we dedicate the merits, Geshe-la said, recall the essential points of this text, that through studying and practicing with the text, and in the same way that Je Rinpoche did, in the same way that he was able to fulfill the welfare of self and others, may we also fulfill the welfare of ourselves and all sentient beings, and that we will definitely practice in this way, and we will dedicate the merits. So with a very joyful, happy mind, let us conclude with a dedication. Changjo zemjo rimbo je ma je pa nam je jo re je wa nyamba me ba yang go ne gondo pe wa re sho. Changjo zemjo rimbo je ma je pa nam je jo re je wa nyamba me ba yang go ne gondo pe wa Jambe Pao Rinpoche Maje Panam Jejoji Chewa Nyamba Meba Yang Gone Gondo Bewa Sho Jambe Pao Jeda Jemba Don Kundu Zambo Deyan Deje Deda Kunjo Jizo Dolo Je Gewa Dida Tanje Radongo Dusun Shebe Gyawa Donje Ge Ngowa Gala Kudu Ngaba De Dagi Gewe Tsawa Digo Gyan Zambo Jeje Rado Ngowa So through the merits that we have accumulated, myself and others today, through the power of these merits, may all the conflicts and wars currently troubling the world, may all the illnesses and so forth currently troubling the world, may these be completely cleared away. And also may this become a cause for the restoration of the balance of the elements, and also may this become a cause for all of the mental suffering and the physical suffering of all 6 types of beings within samsara to be completely cleared away. May I myself be able to actualize, and may the sun of happiness shine upon all 6 types of beings within samsara without discrimination. Yes, so Geshe-la said Geshe-la would like us to recite the Migsema prayer at the very end today. So we'll recite the short Migsema prayer together. I think probably most of you know it. And apologies in advance for my lackluster voice, but I'll do my best. Me Ganchen gewe tsuge tsongkapa lo zon jabe jab la zawade me tsewe te chen chen rezi jeme gembe wan bo jambe yang ganchen gebe tsugen tsongkapa lo zon jabe jabla sowade me tsewe te chen chen rezi jeme gembe wan bo jambe yang ganchen gebe tsugen tsongkapa lo zon jabe jabla sowade. So Geshe-la said that this sort of tune is the tune that you'll hear at the Densa Sum at Ganda and Sera and Drepung monasteries. So Geshe-la said when it's just myself and him singing, it doesn't sound so impressive, but he assures you that when it's the hundreds and hundreds of Sangha together, it does sound very impressive, actually. So thank you very much. In this way, we've concluded our activities. And also my thank you to all of you who are coming, and also to all the people who kind of woke up early to get our Zoom meeting online and to share it with everybody. My gratitude and thanks on this holy day. Well, so bye from Geshe-la. Thank you. Take care.